Hi everyone, it's Margaret here to share my latest journal project. This is called Parasol, and I got my inspiration to do a parasol journal from this little parasol that I found in a local linen shop. They had these in white and cream, and I just thought they were adorable. They actually close, but I did put a little bit of embellishment on it with some pearls and the little fringe trim here. So I thought that really complemented the journal nicely. So there you have the actual parasol, and this is the journal. As you can see, the front page has a pretty lady holding a parasol, and I have created this. Actually, this piece here was a little bit accidental. I had cut out a piece of fabric to make the top of a parasol, which you will see later in the other part of the journal, and I didn't use it, so I ended up cutting it down and just using it for the front page. I kept it rather simple because I wanted to see the lace on the back, and I just embellished the picture with a little bit of this ribbon trim in rosette style, and added a little bit of ruffle. I made this rose flower out of some lace that I had. It's really pretty scalloped edging, and I avocado dyed it and got a beautiful pink color, and then I embellished it with a little bit of sparkly applique that I had in my stash. The bottom of this front page is actually a piece of vintage lace, and this came from a wedding dress. And then underneath is some, again, some fringe trim, which I love. I love the look of fringe trim. And there's the front page. The first page, again, it's a picture of a lady holding a parasol. And I don't know if you can see that. These journals are quite large, so just bear with me. She's holding a parasol again, and I've just trimmed this out in all vintage laces from my stash, using also some crochet doilies, various pieces, a little bit of dangle trim here, and then I cut out these little flowers from again a vintage doily that I had, embellished it with some pearl, added a little bit of ruffle, and there you have that page. The next page is a little bit more sparkly. I used a lot of wedding dress appliques on this one, and again, a beautiful lady with a parasol. And then I just worked around the picture, adding some, oh, I still got glue, adding some wedding dress applique with a lot of sparkle. And I had this little satin ruffle here that I got off a blouse, and I inserted that here. And again, it's layers and layers of doilies underneath. I made this pretty bow in the same vintage lace that I showed you before. Added a little bit of pearl dangle and set it in the corner with a little bit of applique in the center. And there's that page. The next page, I really used again a lot of vintage doilies. Once again, the picture of the lady with the parasol, and I just layered different types of doilies, trims, dangles on top of each other, around the picture, little snippets to add a little bit of color and interest, a handmade flower in the corner here. And again, I cut out these little rosettes from some doilies that I had, and I really love these raised roses. They really give it dimension. And added a little bit of a pearl in the center, and then I continued the dangle off of the rose set in the corner. Just add a little bit of of interest and prettiness again to the page. So that's that page. The next page, I don't know if you'll be able to see it, but I made the top of a parasol and embellished it and made it all pretty. And I just set it on this page. I didn't want to disturb it. I wanted the focus to be right on the actual parasol. And as you can see, I added the little banner underneath that says Parasol, and it's actually really pretty. And there you can see it's raised dimensional. And this is the pearl center that was made and sent to me by Va. Thank you again, Va. So as you can see, I do use the supplies that I have. I don't really hoard anything. Again, the fringe on the bottom, which I always love, to pick up on the beautiful fringe tassel here. So there we have that page. The next page, once again, you have a beautiful vintage lady holding a parasol. And on this page, again, I just used some snippets, some wedding dress applique. I had this collar that I cut up and used on the base. And on top of that, I layered some other little roses from a trim that I had. A little bit of the pleated ruffle here. And I had also this beautiful trim that this is actually new. It's a new ribbon trim. It's not old, and I just embellished it with some pearl trim to add a little bit of prettiness. So there you have that page. Oh, and this little ruffle underneath. So I just try to stick a little bit of ruffle in wherever I can because I adore ruffles. So. And lastly, the pocket page, again, just using some vintage linens. I created this pocket and with some trim, a little flower in the corner. And as you can see, I stuck in the pocket a little parasol. Now this is not a working parasol. I wouldn't have a clue how to make the mechanism for the inside, but still I picked up on some of the colors in the silk and the lace to complement the journal, and I just made this as a little piece of interest to add in the back page pocket. So there is that. Now I love this base fabric that I've used. I found this on a little girl's dress, and it's got all these little knobs on it. So I really love the look of that and the texture. So I tried to leave the spine exposed. And as you can see, just let me, all I did was added this beautiful flower and this little pearl piece in the center with a pretty tassel. Now these tassels, believe it or not, I'm telling you, a lot of times you find things in the strangest places. My sister sold her home and she was in the process of moving, and these were on her blinds and she had them all over the house. So I spotted them as I was leaving, and I told her, I said, "You're not going to leave those gorgeous tassels, are you?" And she said, "Oh my gosh, I forgot about them." So I made her go back and get all the tassels from the blinds, and I added them in a little bit of Avo liquid, and they came out a pretty pink. So I've got a few of these to use now, so I thought I would use it on the spine of this particular journal, and it just looks so pretty. I love that. So there you have my Parasol fabric journal. And while I'm here, I'm also having a great time making these shoes, and I just wanted to share with you a couple more that actually one more shoe and then a couple of purses. But this one I did in gold fabric that I had, a gold silky fabric, and I just embellished it with some trim, some pearls, some roses, and there's that Victorian boot. And then every lady needs a handbag, so I made a matching handbag with it. And as you can see, I used the same trims as the shoe, so they kind of go together. And with this beautiful beaded trim at the bottom, and I am using these for stick pins, like a cushion. So you can see that I've added a few little stick pins in both the shoe and the purse. And so this can even be hung up and a little chain. But I'm telling you, I'm having way too much fun making these shoes. Now I want to try a few more purse styles. They're so easy to make, ladies. They make beautiful gifts. So give it a go because they are so easy to make. And it's a great way, again, to use up some of the bits and pieces that you have in your stash. And then I did one more it's more of a modern take, a little handbag, as you can see. And again, I'm using this as a pin cushion. I've added some pretty little stick pins in that, so that's ready to go. And again, this is a bit of a modern twist to it, a little bit of a, oh, it's caught there, a little dangle here. And very simple, very pretty, and very feminine. So I hope you like that, ladies. And thanks for watching, and I'll see you again soon. Bye for now.